We now delve into a concept that's redefining the future of sustainability, the circular economy. This session focuses on building systems where waste becomes value, an essential transition for reducing pollution and greenhouse gases. A circular economy is our path to regenerative growth and breathable air. I request the speakers of this session to join me on stage as I read out your introductions. Our moderator is Mr. Chinu Kawatra, founder of the Khushiyan Foundation, a social entrepreneur creating ripples in waste and youth engagement. Our speakers for this session include Mr. Akash Kaushik, co-founder, Good Enough Energy. Mr. Mukul Chhabra, founder, Scrap Uncle, innovating waste tech for urban India. And once again, Professor Dr. Sanjeev Pagai, Padma Shri Presidential Awardee, integrating health into our circular ambitions. Thank you all for joining us. May we please have a huge round of applause for all our panelists. Thank you. Over to you, Mr. Kawatra, to moderate the session.
Hello. Very good evening, everyone. Thank you so much, Kamal sir, for thinking about me as a moderator. I've always been as a panelist, but this is the first time I've been moderating a session. So, bhul chuk maaf, especially to the senior person who is sitting in the dais today. I've been learning from people like you, and we all know that plastic is something, a great invention. But today, I understood a lot of things which a person like me who's been fighting with plastic since last 8 years didn't knew. So thank you so much, sir, for that knowledge. I'm no one here to introduce such esteemed personality who are talking about circularity, because हम हमेशा एक चीज बात करते हैं where we always talk about government ने ये नहीं किया, इस NGO ने ये part किया, but no one is talking about closing the loop. And today at this sustainable hour, I would like to thank ISW to take up this topic where we are closing the loop, and there are these champions who are sitting here who are closing the loop, so big hands for them. Definitely after this panel session you will come to know that why closing a loop is very important and not blaming the people. Starting from Akash Kaushik ji itself, you have been revolutionizing the energy sector to a different level. You have started India's largest factory for BESS. You have been replacing diesel generators. You have been stabilizing renewable grids. A lot of good work happening at the energy sector. This is just a small intro from my side to you, but I would like my audience to understand about you by yourself.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Kwatraji. See, I have been listening to the last panels and last panel also, and I'm grateful that I'm part of such kind of discussions where sir has been talking about plastics and cancer. It was last night only I saw a LinkedIn post regarding cancer train which runs from Bhatinda to Bikaner. So every night 9:30 somewhere it runs and it reaches to Bikaner, some Tulsi hospital in the morning at 6. So there has a lot been done to fight cancer, but we are the one who have created this. The reverence for the soil, water and trees in Indian culture has been very prominent, but what we see today is very different. We just care about ourselves. So the pesticides and fertilizers we used in the Punjab land and all, which has created such kind of impact that today every night a train has to travel to cure for the cancer. It's a pity on us. Nonetheless, it was 2014 and 13 when I started Battery Energies. And it was for the reason because I know renewables are not sustainable without storage. We see the maximum generation of solar in the noon time, whereas the peak requirement is in the morning and evening. Just to store that, we help National Grid and many discoms to just have energy storage system and stable the grids. And we are also replacing diesel generators. We will talk more throughout the panel. Thank you.
Lovely. That is something incredible work, I would say. Next, I am coming to Mukulji. Firstly, I love the name Scrap Uncle. I want a short story how this name came up. This will definitely talk about your journey and the company journey and the introduction of the company. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much for having me here. So my name is Mukul. I run this company called Scrap Uncle. We basically have an app and website where you can book a pickup for your junk items or recyclables. So we pick everything from your e-waste, metals, plastics, cardboard, paper. So we are a very, very one-stop shop for giving all your recyclables. So we would even pick your clothes and send them to recyclers. So, I'm a recent graduate from IIIT Delhi. My journey to Scrap Uncle is kind of a roller coaster ride. Before Scrap Uncle, I was into a totally different world. I had a drone startup where we were building VTOL UAVs, and we were funded by Lockheed Martin. We were working with US Air Force. So eventually my co-founders, they wanted to pursue masters, and then I started Scrap Uncle during the final year of college. I saw that if you talk about retail or e-commerce, these sectors were organized 15-20 years ago with the help of tech. There was barcoding, which made everything scalable in retail. And then, there was e-commerce, and, there's tech in logistics, tech in warehousing, and then you have a front-end app. So I saw that everything that you buy from a retail store or an e-commerce website, everything has to come end of the life someday. I mean, these glasses, this bottle, this table, everything will come to end of life someday and will go back in the supply chain for recycling. But that is running in a totally unorganized and offline manner. And I found it a little stupid why no one organized it, and no one brought an e-commerce kind of a setup for this. People tried doing it for B2B because it is easy. It's easy to pick waste from a corporate or a industry. But I wanted to do it for households because we have a very beautiful kabadi wala supply chain that already exists for collecting material from the household. So I thought, why can't we organize it, and came up with the idea of Scrap Uncle. So Scrap Uncle, you might have seen us on Shark Tank season 2. We've sent more than 1.5 crore kgs of e-waste and other recyclables to recyclers. And it's been just 3 years of me working full time, and we're doing some, we've done some 1,75,000 pickups till date. So yeah.
Superb. I would like to say thank you. Thank you for doing this work, because I'm sure that my beach cleanup is seeing less garbage because of you. So thank you for that. Professor Dr. Sanjeev ji, in fact, we want more guidance from you. There's no question coming to you. Whenever I'm looking at you, I'm getting nervous. But there is always one thing, sir. There's also a question here, but which is very related to me. I've been doing beach cleanups since last 7.5 years now. It is more than 1,000 cleanups we have done. And at every cleanup, we find this non-biodegradable medical waste. Talking from syringes, injections, pipes, oxygen, the glucose bottles, and all these things. Can you guide us how this waste can bring a circularity, or how can we put it to the recycling unit, or how many recyclers are working in the town who are actually doing something related to biodegradable waste?
Okay, so when you talk in terms of waste, it's important to understand what waste contains, right? So you have solid waste, which can be wet waste and dry waste. Then you have something which is called as pure paper. Then you have plastic, cans, which is metal, and last is glass and sharps. And what I will not talk immediately right now is what we call as e-waste. Okay, that's the electronic waste. I would safely say, and I won't be inaccurate, that 80-90% of homes in Delhi, each home, each house as an independent unit, will have one large waste bin. That's the first mistake all of us as citizens are making.
True.
You have to segregate the waste.
Right.
A minimum of 3 color-coded containers are available. They don't cost much. It's about 2,500 rupees each. They last you for more than 20 years. They don't break. Unfortunately, they're plastic. But in any case, those are the containers in which you're supposed to put the wet waste, dry waste, and the sharps and the metal. If you put everything in one, the person who comes to collect is supposed to be your local government guy from either MCD or NDMC. Please understand now the cycle flow. The authorized guys in South Delhi are called as SSIL. There are some other private NGOs also who do the waste collection. If they are going to get a huge tons of mixed waste, they have to segregate. Where do they do it? They do it inside the colonies, near the dhalaus, the waste dumps. They finally then take it to the scrap dealers. Or they go into huge landfills known as the Wazipur landfills and the Ghazipur landfills. Our collection system is flawed. What I would request the government is, and I've written very extensively on this, is we need a national waste management, waste collection, waste disposal, waste recycling policy. Waste is the new gold. The guys who are in the waste management are earning much more than cardiac surgeons. The reason is most of this is then recycled into other scrap. There are some items which ultimately stay in the environment for centuries. Now, one of them is plastic. You mentioned about the medical waste. Medical waste has very, very strict norms. There is authorized agencies by the government in which you have to register and your license is renewed every year. The waste is collected by them. The needles go in one, the syringes go in another in a broken form so that they cannot be reused outside. The plastic bags and tubings and catheters go in another. So the norms are very strict. But ultimately, the open dhalaus which are there in residential areas, the waste dumps, how idiotic of us to roll the windows up, just pinch our nose and shut our eyes blind for a few seconds and we just drive past it. Why? Because we don't want to smell it. Do you know why it smells so rotten? It smells because it has methane. It smells because it has sulfuric acid. These are invisible gases which can circulate up to 5 kilometers around the dhalau. So sometimes when we choose a house and say, "Nahi, wo dhalau ke paas hai," we'll take the other lane. You're not safe either. There's a direct correlation in studies internationally. Waste site dumps as dhalaus, how many meters, how many kilometers away, and risk of cancers, bronchial asthma, COPD. So I think we need a national policy which is uniform. You can't have different yardsticks in different states. But we need cleaner environments in which the residents can stay in. If you go to Sarojini Nagar, Lajpat Nagar, anytime after 7:38 or 9 at night, and the restaurants, what do these guys do? There is no place where they can do it. They just dump it outside their shops. There is a limit to which these vans can collect. So while coming over here, I was just reading this on the net. India produces 1.5 lakh metric solid waste per day, 2024. What is this figure going to reach in 2030? 165 million metric tons. By 2050, 436 million metric tons. We don't have space to manage this waste. plastic. India at the present moment is producing 500 million tons per year. From 1980 to 2020, last 40 years, the waste in plastic dumping has increased 900%. Where does this material go to? It's in our environment. It's going to leach into our soil. It's going to dump into the vegetables. You can wash them for the hell I care, nothing is going to happen. It's going to seep into the water soil in terms of your water table down. This is the water which is being provided by to all of us. You can have 10 RO plants, micro and nanoplastic is going to go through them. Our environment is the only thing which we are going to give to our next generation, to our children. If we don't act, we are anyway dying of multiple diseases. We'll die quicker.
Such an eye-opening answer, I would say. We don't understand the depth of the garbage which we are creating right now. But rightly said that the moment we pass the garbage dumping ground, we become that cat in the house who wants to close the eyes, drink the milk, and feel that nobody is watching. So with this, coming back to Akash, so you have found a way to generate energy from waste, which is a very powerful example in terms of innovation and circularity. What are the biggest policy or infrastructure gaps you have faced in scaling this model across urban and rural India?
So, thanks for the question. See, policies are such alike, which are somewhat industry driven. So it's today also when we see diesel generators, they are being given subsidy of 5 lakh rupees for installing it in your industry and factory, whereas there are multiple alternatives available. So if you're promoting something which is creating pollution with a subsidy, this is quite ironic. So this kind of abolishment to the policies are required, whereas when we see our systems like which are being prominently used across the world, BESS systems, the battery energy storage system, what they are actually, you store the energy when it's in surplus, as like you reserve the water when it's not needed and then use it when it's required. So same way, if you use a BESS, it gives you 25 years of life. 10 years is the product we offer with warranty. And whereas DG has a term life of 10 years, you have to replace it after 10 years again, and it creates a lots of pollution. Sir was referring to in fact like 3% of GDP goes to the health impact because of pollution. The record, sir, is from 2019, I believe. The recent record of 2024 says 7% of GDP goes to the health impact because of pollution created. And I don't see any factory or industry which is not using a diesel generator. So if there could be a mandate or some kind of a policy from the government where they talk about diesel generators abolishment and using some innovation or promoting innovation and research and development in this field, this could help.
Perfectly said, yaar. So Mukul, coming back to you, since I've been working with the plastic on ground and with the multiple initiatives with the slums, I want to understand from you, what are the key behavioral shifts you believe are needed among the citizens to truly close the loop at the household level? How can they nudge it effectively? Because it is always seen that we want to do something, but it is not supported by the citizens, or citizens are not able to understand why we are doing it. We have always been saying that, please don't litter. And we are the same Indian when we go abroad. We became very sophisticated. We don't litter. We put the garbage at a right space. But when we are in our own country, we are not able to take care of the garbage. So how what are your key intakes and these citizens regarding the closing the loop or awareing the citizens about the same?
Good question. So, यार हिंदुस्तान की जनता बहुत अलग है, so it's very tough to get those 3 colored bins in the houses. But obviously that's an ideal case. So I think, so we have a very different psychology when it comes to different types of waste. If you look at our moms or our parents or even us, the tendency of a aluminum can or a plastic bottle going into the dustbin is much higher than a tendency of an aluminum utensil at the same time. So your parents would never throw a aluminum utensil or a plastic toy in the dustbin. They would throw a plastic bottle or a aluminum can in the dustbin. So it's very much on your psychology, on how your brain thinks, because we know that there's a kabadi wala who'll come and take your paper and big metal stuff, but still on the same time the things which might stink or which might take a lot more volume, you just throw it in the dustbin. So I think the behavior shift is very much required. What you can do is you can educate your children at least, because it's very, very tough, to be honest. I'll be very realistic. It's tough to change ourselves right now. And nobody actually cares, to be honest. Like, I think 1% of the people would actually care, 99% people don't. They was just, like rightly sir said, they would just close their eyes and they'll just pass away. And it's not just about the other lane. I think you can't choose a house on another planet. You have to live on the same planet. So you can't run away from the consequences, and you might not even get, it's like COVID taught us a lesson, right? We didn't get a time to rebound. So you might not get a time to rebound when you mess up with the environment. So I think there are two ways you can change people. One is incentive. You give them some incentive, because Indian people work like that. And otherwise you can change them by fear. You put some policy in place where you implement very strict fines, maybe some 10,000 rupees for littering and all those things. So there has to be two things. We can't do the government part, like we can just request the government to put some fines. Coming to incentive, you can do some innovative stuff where maybe we are trying a model where we're giving some zip tied bags to people, that you put all your dry stuff in it. Even if you mix it, that's fine. And we'll pick it up once it is full. In 15-20 days it will be full. If we just talk about a dry waste bag, and we can pick it up from your place, you book it on the app. Because we are doing pickups in each society, we have found a way to balance, because that is not a economically feasible thing for us to just pick those bags. But I would surely have a pickup of an AC or a fridge or a bigger thing in the same society. I'll pick your stuff collected in that bag as well, and I'll pay you for that. So you get some 5 rupees a kg for a mixed kind of dry waste that you give to me. So there has to be things like that, which obviously 5-10 years down the line you'll see much better things happening in the country, similar to the West. So for example, in US there's a company called WM which manages all their waste. So one is that. Otherwise, I would say that educate your children. Like, it's very, very important. And you have to live here. You can't run away from this planet. And at least so that the next generation is very much aware about how serious it is to not segregate and not be environmentally conscious. Yeah, and we should also reduce consumerism. Like, you don't need to buy an iPhone every year. You don't need to buy a TV every couple of years, even if you're earning a lot of money. So maybe a mindset around that also is important to put in our children.
Definitely a mindset change is necessary. People nowadays not only buy iPhone, but they travel Dubai to buy iPhone. So imagine the carbon emission they are trying to bring in. With this incentive structure, we have recently launched something which is known as Plastic Do Dhan Lo, to bring back the barter exchange. I remember my grandmothers and grandfathers used to keep plastic, give their plastic and get something in return. So we started this in very small slum in a rural area, and I was surprised, sir. In 30 days, in 30 days, 30 houses of small pada in a forest area collected 42 kgs of plastic, and it was only MLP, LDP, and it was PET. These three comprised of 42 kgs out of 30 households. अगर हर घर हमारा 140 करोड़ की जनता है, यही अगर करनी शुरू कर दें, अपना कचरा संभाल कर स्क्रैप अंकल जैसे लोगों को देना शुरू कर दे, तो वी डोंट नीड एनी रिसाइकलर यूनिट, वी डोंट नीड एनी अदर, वी डोंट नीड सच पैनल्स टू बी देयर. Sir, since we have heard about your deep commitment towards the public health, And how do you connect environmental degradation due to linear systems with rising health challenges? I want to understand what is the urgent systematic changes do you advocate for?
Okay, so very quickly, I think each person should instruct what they need to do in their own house. Please get rid of all water bottles which are plastic. Pearl PET, fancy color, nice bluish, pinkish, greenish. Please discard them. Don't keep them, throw them. I'll repeat it again. Please discard your plastic bottles which store water. If they are there at home, somewhere down the line, your foot will slip and you'll use it again. Use glass bottles. I've started doing this for the last 4.5, 5 years at home. Your total cost impact is about 8 or 10 glass bottles which break in a year because glass breaks. But really the fact is your total cost impact is not more than 4,000-5,000 rupees in a year. That's all. Point number 2, all storage utensils which are used as containers which are kept in the fridge or in the freezer, please don't use plastic. Freezer, go to steel. Fridge, just use glass. Third point, all microwavable containers, because you are heating a particular thing, and if that contains plastic, the leaching is a lot more. Please don't use plastic. As far as the government thing is concerned, residential areas cannot have open waste dumps called as dhalaus. The people who are responsible are MCD and NDMC or any other government agency. Put the fear of God, you lose a government job, they will move their ass as per yesterday. Unless until there is no enforcement, it's not going to work. We as citizens, no house garbage should be collected unless until it is segregated in 3 containers. Let your garbage rot in your house. The husband or the wife will be running the next day to pick up these 3 containers. These same families, please understand, will go to Singapore, will go to Dubai, will go to Hong Kong. They will not throw a pin on the road because your fine is so punitive. It's a mindset which we need. Very often people say, एक आदमी क्या करेगा? 5 लोग क्या करेंगे? A movement is built just like this. A mindset, when you start a momentum, it just starts with one wave. The most expensive thing in the world is an idea. Please share this idea. Go away from plastic. Get your waste management correct at home. Make sure you don't dump in open dhalaus and insist on enforcement. It's your legal right. Article 21 of your constitution is right to breathe, right to live. We are Indian citizens. We pay our taxes. Please stand up for what you believe in. Thank you.
Excellent, sir. Excellent. So with this, I would like to have one closing remark from all the esteemed panelists. Over to you, Akshay. Akash. I'm very bad with names. I'm so sorry about it.
Thank you. To Sir and Mukul, thankfully government has heard our grievance. Ministry of Transport has passed a rule that if you litter from the bus, you will be fined by 3,000 rupees and 10,000 rupees if you are not keeping a dustbin in a public transport. So maybe it will be all like DMRC now. I have seen people very disciplined in the DMRC, and when they just get down from the stair and elevator, they peek out. So the same person who was so disciplined just a second back, now he become undisciplined and uncivilized person. So maybe it's just the fear of penalty which will be now implemented throughout the nation, and people will be better. Nonetheless, I believe everyone here is more and more towards the environmental concern and health concern. If not for the environment, at least look after you and your coming generation. We have to give this environment to our coming generation. So if we take care of it, then they will be happy.
Perfectly said. Over to you, Mukul.
I think, implementing penalties also in a country like India is a challenge because the officers who will collect that fine are also Indians. Then there are other problems that come with it. So the mindset change is very, very important. I would just, beg you to maybe educate your children, be a little aware. It is like you're messing up with God. So it's like environment is kind of God, and you're taking panga with God. So like you do puja of God, you should do puja of the environment. And honestly, किसी को फर्क नहीं पड़ता. Like you, even after this panel, you'll just go and कभी-कभी हमसे भी गलती हो जाती है. We just throw things, right? अब तो नहीं होती, but पहले हो जाती थी. So it's just your self-conscious that can help you change. At least for your children, you can educate them. You can tell them how important the nature is and how real the changes could be. Just maybe watch YouTube videos on how ozone was a real thing and how messing up with. I mean, you won't get time actually. Like you don't get time when you mess up with the environment. So things can be very, very quick because you see how things change, right? It is so fast. You just see the last 10 years how things are changing. It is not like your last 20 years or 30 years when things were still slower. So here, there might be one mistake and then you don't get a time and maybe things just go out of your hands in 6 months. So don't be careless. Even the governments are not actually concerned. They just want to include sustainability as a thing, but they actually would give it a less priority. So I would say keep it at an equal priority to other things. It is like you're trying to save money maybe or whatsoever, but somewhere or the other you'll end up paying much more money than that. So keep it like a normal priority, like your food or anything, right? So keep sustainability also. There should be no, like you rightly said, there should be no special events. It should be part of the mainstream events, right? It should be an equal part of a mainstream entrepreneurship event happening somewhere, right? There should be no need of any special, and it should be not considered unsexy, right? People don't find it cool. People don't find waste management cool. It should be the coolest thing in the place. So you have to change that mindset and at least make others aware. जैसे भी हो पाए, देसी भाषा में, अंग्रेजी भाषा में, जैसे भी उनको समझ में आए, make people aware and make your kids aware about the consequences.
I'll add on to this, Mukul. As you said, like things have been God to us: food, water, river, tree. We said like they were God because that time there was a time when people were illiterate and it was easy to convince them by saying they are God, they will take care of it. But now we are literate people, but we are still doing the same nonsense as that was not supposed to do. I will just add on to this, as your Scrap Uncle name is very interesting. The name of my company is Good Enough. We kept this as pragmatic because if we keep on looking for the best, we will create more nuisances and nonsense. So if you eat good enough, you will save. If you wear good enough, then you will save. If you walk good enough, if you travel good enough, then you will save. And you will save the environment and money both. So be conservative, use good enough, that will be good.
So we all have to be good enough, I would say. With this, definitely I would say that Mukul, Environment Day, honestly, it feels bad to me. June 1st aata hai na, people go crazy. It's an environment month. We have to do this, that. The moment 30th June goes away, there is no talk about environment till next year. So Environment Day is every day. The moment we start saying this to ourselves, and the moment we feel that environment doesn't need us, we need environment. We have no one to protect the environment. Here only we are protecting ourselves. That's the reason we are working for environment. The moment you start feeling that, everything will change. So last remark, the closing remark from Sanjeev ji. आप क्या बोलना चाहेंगे?
See, there is no community, there is no nation which can progress unless until it's disciplined. And it's a mindset which we need to inculcate. Trust me in what I'm saying. There are two classical examples. Japan went to US to play a World Cup football game and they lost badly. There were about, in a stadium of about 40,000, there were about 5,000 or 6,000 Japanese who flew down from Japan to watch the match in US. The last set of people to leave the stadium were the Japanese. Guess what they were doing? They were cleaning up the stadium before they left. That's their culture. Unless and until we don't teach this to our children, unless until we as parents, as grandparents, stop throwing things around. If we can wash our hands, wash our feet, remove our chappal, remove our shoes, and come home, why can't we keep the exterior of our house clean? Cleanliness has to be taught. The value of hygiene has to be taught. Unless and until hygiene is not there, we won't get prevention of disease.
Perfectly said. And I would say this panel was definitely insight to me. I have learned a lot of things here. Anybody has any question there in the audience? Yes, sir.
First of all, I would like to say the founder of IHW Council, Mr. Kamal, the selection of speakers, their impactful keynotes and presentation, excellent. The speaker made the summit very impactful. The hospitality, the subject, and the.
Thank you, sir. If you have a question, please raise.
It's the last session, and we have the time. Good year, Sumit. The World Environment Day, you celebrated as an awareness day for the betterment of the community. We really, by heart, blessing you all the best and keep on partying. My thankful to Professor Dr. Sanjeev Kumar. Excellent, detailed, nice presentation. I pictured so many your notes. I will study later on because everything was moving. Mr. Chino, what a good name. Name and the founder of Khushia Foundation.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Excellent name of the foundation, Khushia Foundation. Very rarely we are listen this such kind of company name. And dear Mr. Mukul and the Akash startups, you are not the startups, now you are the stand-ups. Because it's not so easy job. It's not so easy. It's a very, very difficult. Wherever you go, what is your business? मैं कबाड़ी वाला हूँ. नहीं, आज वो कबाड़ी वाला नहीं है. आज बहुत बड़े businessman. My respect to all your speakers. Excellent, good. We are going with the wonderful insights, presentation, ideas, and we'll continue forward. Thank you.
Mukul, I have a question. So Dr. Sanjeev said that the scrap guys are now earning more than cardiac surgeons. Is that the case?
I know a kabadiwala who's based in Southeast Delhi. He owns a Rolls Royce. So, but I am not earning. We are a loss-making startup because we're solving a bigger problem. It's a Zomato-like company. We have to do a lot of B2C pickups. But yeah, I would say we are providing employment to 120 pickers who work with us, and they'll carry electric pickup trucks, and they get paid between some 30-40K a month, which is much more than what they were earning earlier. So yeah, that's the only thing I can add.
Wonderful, thank you.
Sir, you mentioned the different three kinds of garbage bins. The rule is there, limitation is there. In some states, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, the garbage van they don't collect. They are not segregated. They are in the garbage van also. There are three partitions. They don't collect. But in other states, I'm sorry to say, not yet properly implemented. Landfills, yes, you rightly mentioned the methanol and methane and the other gases. And when the small rain comes, drops, big gases come.
I have a question. Why poor class people have not given the environment, just like we people are getting the environment platform by IHW?
Sir, we are. If you see me without this suit boot, you will see that how poor I am. Definitely, you can come to my organization. I sit with my children on ground. It's only the dais which has made me to wear suit. Otherwise, I don't wear suit. So I feel honestly, I'll take up your question. Anyone has this answer to, they can definitely. But I feel the dais is for everyone. Whoever wants to come, we welcome all. And there's no poor or rich. bifurcation here. The people who are working from heart for the environment, for the health sector, for any other sector are welcome. So definitely, if you come across any people outside who want such platform, we would be obliged to call them here and present their work in front of people.
Very rightly said, Mr. Quatra. And I think at IHW, we all stand for inclusion, equity, and sustainability for all. Thank you to all our speakers for their valuable insights. I invite Mr. Omar once again to present mementos to our speakers and moderator. We begin with our speakers, Mr. Akash Kaushik. Mr. Mukul Chabra. Professor Dr. Sanjeev Bagai. And our moderator, Mr. Chinu Quatra. Thank you so much, everyone.